all here, so I'll call the meeting to order at 7:04. And just to start off, I'm just gonna read out the charge and then kind of describe what the Board of Selectmen, both previous and current, want from this committee. So the charge is to study and develop a code of ethics for the town of Killingworth. And I realize that is a very broad charge, but it is also a charge which a lot of other communities have already developed. So speaking in a very ethical manner, if you can beg, borrow, and steal from other communities, that sort of code that may or may not already exist, and a lot of other communities already have codes like this, that's fine. We just, we would like that as a committee. I want to remind everybody, when you're in meeting, you have to record minutes. You have to provide notice of the meetings at least 24 hours in advance. If it's a special meeting, one of the elements on the agenda tonight is a schedule of meetings for the following year. Pick a day on a month and just have a regular meeting. We don't know how long it will take for you to complete the charge, and once you complete it, this committee will likely be disbanded. At that point, we're going to set up an ethics commission to enforce said code. But really, we're just looking for best practices so that we can make sure that there's some level of security for everybody, whether they're at town hall or, who we contract with. So with that, I'll stop talking and let you continue on to item number 3, unless anybody has any questions about the charge. Okay, then I guess I shouldn't step away because I do have to kind of guide you on this. So we do need a chair from your committee, and we also need a clerk, somebody who can take the minutes. So if there are any nominations for chair. You're muted, Derek.
Sorry about that. Nominate Robert T. Rimmer of Ironworks Road to serve as chair of this august body.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I got your back there, Rob.
Seems like, are there any opposed? Okay, Rob, the first split vote? Yeah, all right. All right, Rob, you're now the chair. I'll let you take the vote for the clerk.
So we're gonna elect a clerk, and let me ask, just for clarification purposes, I assume when whoever we elect among ourselves to be the clerk is really gonna keep minutes. We're not gonna have someone to come in and keep minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, I'm not sure among this group who's been on committees and things, but keeping the minutes is a very important thing, and I might misstate this. Eric can correct me. The minutes need to be submitted to the town clerk within a very short period of time after a meeting. I'm sorry, any motions need to be submitted within 48 hours. And I think the minutes need to be submitted within 7 days. There you go. So with that being said, if there are any volunteers, now's a good moment to volunteer, or otherwise, are there any nominations for someone to serve as clerk?
Rob, I'm sorry, can I take you back to what you said about 48 hours? I understand the minutes need to be filed with the town clerk within 7 days, but what was your first point about 48 hours?
If there are motions that are made and passed, and I think Eric's agreeing with me, my understanding is they have to be submitted to the town clerk within 48 hours. So this group, there's a motion to whatever, past paragraph 3. And it passed 4-2. I think that needs to be submitted within 48 hours.
Submitted,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. Do you mean reported that the
Reported
action
to the
was
town. Yes,
reported? Not.
yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, right. Sorry.
So
That's only
typically-
if the minutes are not also gonna be
Right,
submitted
right.
within
Yeah, yeah.
that time.
Okay,
period.
I understand. So the better practice is to just, if you have an actual substantive motion enacted by the meeting, by the body, that should be incorporated in the minutes, and the minutes should be reported, filed with the town clerk within 48 hours, business hours, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and-
okay.
And technically, those are really draft minutes until the following meeting when they're voted on as
Correct.
to what the actual substance.
That's
So,
right.
and I just want to say, I'm sorry I was late, everybody. I was having trouble getting on and
Yeah, we
this
understand.
kind of delayed me, but I'm glad to see some of you whom I know, and, I am glad to be here, so I apologize for that. So,
No worries, Karen. We understand the number of times people have joined late on Teams meetings. It's
Teams
understandable.
Teams is terrible. Teams
So-
is just terrible.
So, all right, so I'll open the floor to nominations for clerk.
so I'll just say that I've been chair of the Board of Ed, and I've been on wetlands, and I've been on Board of Assessment Appeals, and I've been on Zoning Board of Appeals. But I really would rather not have the responsibility of the minutes, just because my time is a little thin and that time frame is tight. But it is a super important job. And I think if anybody is willing to take it on, that's really wonderful, because it is kind of difficult, but it doesn't have to be, it has to capture the meeting. So it doesn't have to be exactly every single word that each person said.
Yeah, I completely agree. And furthermore, there's a tendency in municipal government for minutes to be like some verbatim, accounting of this person said this and this person said that. And, under Robert's rules, it's really supposed to be a reflection of the actions of the body. Conversation doesn't need to be in the minutes. But a question I have is, Eric, is there staff, city staff, municipal staff that can take on the clerical role here?
We do have clerks that we could ask if they would be able to take on, but they're stretched pretty thin as is between all the other commissions and committees. So.
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying no, but I'm saying it's probably easier if somebody here, and I'll just give the example of, myself. Sometimes my minutes are, when we're in a hiring committee meeting, for example, it's the board or the committee discussed the salary range which we should offer to a candidate. And you don't go into super detail on that, or maybe you list the motion, but
Yeah, I guess I could do it, Eric. I mean, I really, I don't want to leave you guys hanging. And I
Perfect.
think we just
Great.
need to get it done. It just has to be
Yeah.
part of it.
yeah, and again, it's the only wrinkle for really tight timeline is if motions are made. So
All right.
I think
So
this
I'm
is
gonna-
this. Yeah, this is going to be to the extent that we're going to be assembling, a code. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of actionable items that we're going to be doing. Like we said, we're going to take best practice. We're going to assemble half a dozen from municipalities whose work product we like and respect, and then we'll put something together from that. We could go meetings where there's actually no substantive actions taken. We're just going to be assembling material. I see the real action coming at the end when we decide to adopt something.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll volunteer to do it if maybe Karen would help me. Like, I've never done it before. I've never taken minutes, but I'd be willing to try. Maybe, because I don't know exactly how to do it. I mean, obviously I've read minutes before, but I'd be willing to take that on. If I could just have a little direction, maybe send them to you and,
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'd be happy to do it that way. Help you
Okay.
and be
Yeah.
just help you as needed and I think that's great. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I just feel like I'd rather have somebody else take it on and be the point
Okay.
person to make sure it gets done and you know in the very beginning we can just you know I can just show you a little bit about what they generally look like. So
Okay.
that's awesome.
Well,
Thank-
we're all friendly here. It's like Karen pointed out. I mean, it's draft until it comes before us. We apply a couple edits and then we vote on it and then it becomes our minutes. So
Okay.
we'll all help each other.
All right.
Okay, do I hear a motion to nominate Gail Buller as clerk?
I nominate Gail
Sec-
Fuller as clerk.
And I second. Who's taking the minutes for this meeting? I think
I am.
Eric should be taking the minutes.
Great, perfect,
Eric is our secretary until he's relieved.
Yeah, yeah,
perfect, okay.
that's how it often winds up.
Okay, great. Any other
If you do a good-
nominations?
If you do a good job, Eric, we'll just let you keep it.
Sure.
Any other nominations? Okay, we're ready to vote. All in favor of Gail Buller as our clerk, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I think that's 6-0. Thanks very much, Gail. Oh, let me ask you a question now that we've done this. I'm looking at the screen here and it says the recording has started. Is this actually being recorded?
Yes,
Okay, and that will be posted on the website at some point?
yes, we have a YouTube. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. This meeting is recorded. We post it to YouTube. So be on your best behavior.
Yes,
Oops.
but that should take some, I'm not sure if pressure is the right word, but I'll say pressure, some pressure off the minutes because folks can, if they're not here or they're not watching, they can, access the recording.
Yes.
But thank you very much, Gail. And thank you, group, for the conversation on that. Okay, now we need to set our schedule of meetings for 2025. I think Eric's already said this. I think what we should do, I think we often would go into January 26th, unless you say that's not a good idea.
What do you mean January 26th? I thought you meant January 26th, not
Yeah.
January 2026.
Right.
Got it.
So we'll set one regular meeting per month. We can meet as often as the group wants to meet. We'll call special meetings and whatever, if that's necessary. But we'll set one regular meeting per month for every month of 2025 and January of 2026. Now, having said that, we all have challenging schedules. I would say, for me, Tuesday, even though tonight's Wednesday night, Tuesday nights are the best. I'm waiting now for the other 5 to say any night but Tuesday is okay. But do people have, yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
That's my situation. Tuesday is not good for me.
Yeah. Tuesday,
Tuesday's
well,
not good for me either.
I want to
Okay. Tuesdays are out.
I want to be in person when I can, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays are when I'm kind of on business travel down here in DC or wherever. So I can do it, but I'll be virtual if we're on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Mondays, Thursdays, I tend to be in town.
Mondays and Thursdays are good for me.
Mondays are definitely good for me. Thursdays most.
Depends on which Monday of the month and which Thursday of the month we're talking about, because I have some, like, I'm town council for some towns and I'm for the regular meetings that they have. So I would prefer Monday over Thursday, and as long as it's, depending on if it's like the 3rd Thursday or the 4th Thursday, those would work of the month. Any of the Mondays would work for me. First Monday, second,
Maybe Monday. I might prefer Monday. If we're picking between Monday and Thursday, I might prefer a Monday.
which Mondays are the selectmen meetings?
It is the 2nd and 4th Mondays are the selectmen meetings. There is a challenge in that, I'm just pulling up the town calendar right now. ZBA meets on the third Monday of the month, and their meetings are now starting to be recorded because obviously they make decisions and it's useful to have that record available. So if Mondays, the first Monday is typically open. Yeah, I don't think there's a single meeting on the first Monday of the month. So that would put you, ironically, your first, no, if I get the meeting minutes in and we have a vote tomorrow, then your first meeting in January, if you choose the first Monday, would be a regular meeting. So if you choose the
Oh.
first Monday.
Okay, well, great. And if somehow that's lost, we'll just do it as, we'll make it a special meeting, but.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're hearing from everyone, but it sounds like we're kind of working our way towards the first Monday of the month. Seeing people nod.
Yeah. But
Ellen?
Rob,
Yep.
Eric, I mean, I'm not thinking this is going to be a 1-year effort. I mean, is it?
I don't think so either, but just blocking those Mondays off.
Yeah.
And I think something has to be filed with the Secretary of State or the.
Yeah.
We have to, yeah, and so
Yeah.
and it's better to set these and not need them than the other way around.
Oh, for sure. But I'm thinking we should be done by summer, I would think.
I believe that. Yeah, I don't think you'll have too much work ahead of you. But why not just carve out the first Monday and in case, we need to have a vote in July as opposed to, and we thought we'd be finished in June.
Of course. Yeah.
Right, so, I'll entertain do we have to, state that they're regular and hybrid, or doesn't matter?
You can state that as you file the agenda.
Great, all right. So, are we ready to move this forward?
Yes.
An equally unhappy resolution for everyone. That, is there a motion to, select the first Monday of each month of 2025 and the first Monday of January 2026 as our regular meeting dates?
I would make that motion, but I would like to also, assign discretion to the chair to set meetings as necessary to meet the business of the body. So, let's set these schedules. Let's set this schedule first Monday, but I also think it's important to assign authority to the chair to schedule special meetings as he sees fit.
Well, I think I have that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can do that anyway, and I don't mean that the way it sounds. I would, when we all decide that needs to happen, that will comply with the notice deadlines and all that, and we'll have whatever special meetings. And now's not the moment to discuss this because it's not really on the agenda, but I'll just hint that, we might front load some of this, and we might have some special meetings, early on, or as we get our sea legs, we might have some special meetings, but yeah.
Yeah, I just meant that as, I guess the spirit of what I was saying there is, between meetings, if you think it's necessary to call a meeting, you don't need to, get the consent of anybody. I think it's good for you to just be able to schedule meetings as needed, but I take your point. It's probably doesn't need to be articulated in the motion.
Right.
Is there a
So I
second?
second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Okay, any discussion further? We're ready to vote. All in favor of setting that schedule, please say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm gonna count that as 6-0-0. And I think we're compelled to adjourn at this point.
Unless you have any discussion of that scheduled meetings, otherwise, yeah. No further business, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Well, there's a question maybe from Karen.
Well, I was just thinking, it might be worthwhile if I just tried to compile a couple. Have you, Eric, compiled or looked at any of the nearby towns? Maybe we want to just look at those a little bit. Maybe I could
have
find some
not,
stuff
but-
and circulate it before our first meeting.
I
So
have
we-
not, but I can do that sort of legwork, and provide it for you. It won't be the next couple of days, just because my schedule is basically full. And I can ask Elizabeth to, send some stuff your way too. So,
So I should have said this earlier, I guess, but let me say one thing too, that, it's fine for us to communicate with one another, between meetings, but we should not have group emails where we're having substantive conversations about things, because that would bring us potentially in violation of open meeting rules and those sorts of things. It's perfectly okay for, and I will very likely do this. I will communicate perhaps individually or call you and try and get some ideas going. But I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
No, I totally am well aware of that. And that's not what I was directed at. I was just thinking it might be useful if we individually did a little reading of some of the other towns' policies. It might give us a little bit of time to think about what we think would be appropriate for our town's policy, a little bit of like background
Absolutely.
reading.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Finding a learning curve was kind of what I was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just 'cause I'm not super familiar with the topic yet myself, but I'd like, we need to learn more so that we can effectuate the best, or what we all agree is what we would consider the best, document for the town. So-
yeah, I can
It-
absolutely
it might-
send. Go ahead.
It might make sense. I was kind of thinking, Karen, what you were saying, which is like, like we each look at a couple of towns and their, what they have, and maybe bring it to the next meeting, and then also share that information, but sort of bring our perspective, and then we can have a conversation about what we've seen at the other towns, and that would sort of kickstart us to the next place. Does that make sense? And is it within the bounds of the
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it
Yep.
does, and I'll try and, coordinate that as much as possible with everyone so that we don't have 6 people, looking at the same town, before the next meeting. And then we'll, get a head start that way and, for our first meeting.
Yeah, I mean, there's 168 other municipalities. Many of them, most of them have codes already. We're not inventing the wheel here.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Very good. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Nice
Sure.
socks, Rob. Nice socks, Rob Rimmer.
I'm not wearing any.
See you later. Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
we are adjourned. We're adjourned.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Hey.
Thank you all.